Hello and welcome back to the basics of wormhole exploration. In the first part of this series, I have talked about the basics of what the wormhole itself tells you before you even get in, so you can get your bearings and prepare yourself. Also, what you will be getting into when you enter wormholes. But this time, I will go over some wormhole safety tips and show more or less how you can set yourself up for success or lower the possibility of getting ganked right away in a wormhole space. After that, it's up to you if you really want to explore them and if you want to risk it. However, it is a very good space to actually learn the mechanics of the game, about detection, about avoiding ganks and flying in general. So let's get right into it. So we are next to a wormhole that we talked about in the previous video. And the first tip that I have for you is that you can always cloak if you are over 2,000 meters away from something. Regular gates in systems can pull you in when you are 2,500 meters from them. However, for wormholes, it works a completely different way. In a wormhole, you can touch it and basically jump through it if you are under 5,000 meters, which is very important, very good, because you don't really have to get on top of it. You can be still a little bit away when you're punching through it. Second thing before you enter is, especially for smaller wormholes or when you are going through with a fleet, never use micro warp drives when going through a wormhole, because that increases your mass, and especially with less stable wormholes or when you have a big fleet that matches the size of a wormhole, you might cause it to collapse prematurely. So always have your proper micro warp drives off and go through them. But now let's get into it, shall we? So we enter the wormhole itself, we jump into the system, and the first thing that you can see is the name of the system. If you want to really check if it's sketchy or not, you might punch this system name into zkillboard.com, which is a website that shows you kills by people, alliances, and also in systems. So you might be able to check if someone is actually hunting in that wormhole fairly recently, so you might know if someone might still be here. First thing, of course, I do is hit V to refresh my D-scan and see what is going on. Then I open the system map and quickly scan the system for any structures, because if there are structures, this means that the wormhole is actually inhabited, and that is not really good news for you. However, as you can see, my jump cloak timer is running out, so I will orbit the wormhole, release my probes, cloak up, open the scanner window, center the formation myself, put it on only half a U to scan down and eliminate immediately this exact location. The second thing I do is immediately right click the wormhole and save it for myself. That way, no matter what happens, I immediately have a way out. I can go to it. If you open a window for locations in space, you will immediately have this window open and have this wormhole bookmarked, so you can warp right into it. This is very important because the first mistake that people do is don't bookmark their route out, and then they start panicking whenever something happens, or they have to relog and suddenly all the signatures are not scanned anymore, and they have to start frantically scanning again. So that's the first thing. As you can see, I have orbited the wormhole within the range that I can take it, and I have cloaked. That way, if anyone would come through this wormhole, I will immediately see a ripple effect coming through it, which alerts me that someone has just taken it and they don't know I'm here, or they know that someone is here. Let me just put the probes out of here because one of them just stayed here because I scanned on top of myself. But I will know that they are here, and with a combat tab out, I will see exactly what ship it is. If it's a combat ship, I can just get out and skip the whole thing. But what could you do if you are a complete newbie and you have a tier 1 frigate that doesn't cloak because you might be, for example, an alpha player? If you are new, you might not pay attention to your combat tab. Someone shows up, blaps you in 1 or 2 shots, and you don't have the time to take the wormhole. That's where Dead Space bookmarks come in. You choose a celestial of your choosing, for example, this moon. You warp to it at range always, hit Ctrl B, prepare a save bookmark, and while you're in warp, but within the descan range of the wormhole itself, you drop that bookmark by hitting save while in warp. That way you have just made a safe bookmark where if someone wants to get you, they will have to deploy combat probes and they will have to actually combat scan you, which you can counteract by spamming descan, because that's one thing you will have to do in wormholes. Spam descan constantly. I have made this bookmark actually outside of the descan range, but you would want to have it within the range so that you can warp to it before you get out, descan to check if someone's sitting on the wormhole, and then you get out of it once you're done with the thing itself. So sitting in the Dead Space spot means that you can be uncloaked as a newbie and keep scanning. You just need to pay attention to this little window here to make sure nobody is trying to hunt you down. If you are especially paranoid, and I do believe in a healthy dose of paranoia in wormhole exploration, get more than one safe bookmark. You can warp between them every once in a while to make it even harder for anyone trying to scan you down. But if you do have a cloak, I would recommend orbiting the wormhole and being cloaked there, as if things get hairy, you can just basically get the hell out immediately. Also, about this little window, with recent changes, CCP actually made changes to the shortcuts, and this window used to be opened with the L for Lima button, but right now it opens the whole locations, which is way less useful when you're sitting in a system that has no connection to any other of your bookmarks. That's why you can hit escape, hit shortcuts, and go to filter. If you filter for locations, you can rebind this. For example, I made local locations under Alt L, but I always keep this open wherever I go. So you can make the rebinding yourself, and make sure you run with this window open, as it makes it easier to find what you have bookmarked in this exact system. Next little recap is about descan. Little tip: whenever you are hacking, you're doing anything, always keep spamming descan. And by spamming, I mean sitting and trying to refresh it every single time you can do that in full range and in 360 degrees, so that if someone would uncloak and try to warp to you to catch you, you can see it on descan and immediately warp away, saving your own skin. And last tip that I can give you when you are exploring, and especially when you are a new bro explorer, and I cannot stress this enough, do not be greedy. Assuming you're watching directional scanner, you can start seeing the ships or probes when they appear. It's probably time for you to leave. You are not equipped for combat, you are not gonna fight back, as you will most probably be dead when they catch you. And please don't mind the cat. My game apparently crashed in the middle of my sentence. So the thing you need to do is make sure you get out when you already know that you got some stuff with you. If you are in a exploration frigate that costs $1 million or $2 million, getting around 30 million is great time to warp to your safe, descan the wormhole, make sure it's safe, and get the hell out. Bank it in known space, in high sec, because you're probably going to be going through high sec to get to the wormholes. Drop it off in a station, and then you're good to go. If you then, on the second run in the wormhole, get killed, you just banked 30 million, so you can pay for the 15 to 30 next ships. So you are on net profit. If you go ahead, start hacking, get greedy, amass 200 million and get caught, you didn't get anything. So that's always one of the principles for running in wormholes. Never get greedy. If you are thinking you are just getting greedy, it's probably the time that it's too late and you should have gone out some time ago already. So just to sum everything up, wormholes are your friends, and I do mean it. They might look scary, especially after all of what I just said, people trying to hunt you and having sites that can drop rats that will just headshot you pretty fast. But you will learn a lot as long as you analyze. Every single death you get here, they will be coming in less and less, and at some point you will get better with time, and you will be getting a lot of good ISK. So I hope you enjoyed this mini series, and I hope to see you in the next videos. Bye bye.